I remember past times. I remember all those fucking fast nights. I'ma still be standing when the last lights die.
Hold on.
Every time I start to cry, I remember past times.
The rains and that pause, I don't care anymore.
And every memory just starts to die. I don't remember stressing. Oh yeah, I need more of this shit. I'm the king of the force, it's lit. Yeah, she like the top of the class, so I give her my valedictorian tip. Yeah, they can rule the day that I get in my dues, I ain't in my euphorian shit. All he's talking is cap, I don't know how you listen to him and encourage his shit. I'm waiting on riches, I'm trying to see money bags of every
Time I signed, I'm trying to see green in a lot of it.
I'm waiting on comments from all of the haters, and I know they really
Compliments.
I'm waiting to be on the stage, and I'm ready for them to see
Me as a monument.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready. I keep the target on lock and steady. Where's my confetti? I'll wrap it up in
Just like spaghetti. I'm sorry. Mess with that album, no cap. We're back, fam, on the reaction channel. Y'all seen the title. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Let me take a breather. Hold on. This is what I do every time I edit, fam. I get lit. I edit and I get stuff done. But today's the recording. What's good on my Dexters and Dexters? I know y'all pulled up. Y'all pulled up just to see the fam. It's a lit feeling, you know? Today we're back with another reaction. And I know I told y'all I was gonna go back to the hold on, we're in Dexter's laboratory, right? And this is where we get the latest and fire content on either channel. Make sure you mess with the main channel in the description. Easily. But I recorded the second reaction for the scare straight, right? I came back, the screen was not recording. Hold on. Jono Giovanna, Bruno Bugatti. Alright, so today, why y'all pressed on this video? Most likely, y'all did not want to hear me talk. Today we're watching worst 4Kids edits, One Piece top 5. And this video is like a good 11 minutes. So I'm guessing they're gonna be giving a little back story on it, or just like describing it. Because 4Kids with the anime, it makes it so it censors, you know, for kids, you know, for when they watch it, they don't see the guns, they don't see the blood, they don't, you know, they check out certain stuff, and it kind, you know, it messes it up. So this is why it's the worst for kids, as y'all see on the top of the screen. Let's hop into it. Make sure y'all drop a like if y'all enjoy, subscribe if you do want to see more content like this. I'm trying to do more anime reactions because I love anime, and I'm just trying to mash it together, you know. Comment what should I react to next, and let's hop into it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. And today, we're going to be delving into the darkest timeline as we discuss some of the worst changes made by the 4Kids dub. And I think it's definitely time to do this because I've pretty much ignored the 4Kids dub.
Nah, this is reasonable though, you know, because One Piece does emphasize women and how beautiful they are on certain parts of their body.
Of this channel's life, but in reality, it is such a huge part of almost every English-speaking One Piece fan's experience with the series. I mean, for example, my very first exposure with One Piece was the 4Kids dub, and as a result, it took me probably about another whole year before I actually decided to give the series a chance. And even then, a lot of that chance involved watching this dub for far longer than I'd like to admit. But you have to understand that I'm an old man, and back in my day, sourcing anime online was not the easiest of things to do, and even finding good quality manga was a pain. Oh, and everything was wildly illegal, but let's not go too deeply into that. In any case, we now find ourselves here today to discuss this.
Who? Yuck. Get into it, fam. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people sleep on One Piece. Let's bring up some reasons. Animations, 4Kids. They say dragged out, which I can support these facts, some of them. But it's just the world base of it. You get attached to the characters, you know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to get through the first parts, you know, because they're not the best, you know, because it was a while back. But the story's still fire, you know, the world building, the character development. I love it, you know. Not even through the whole series, I haven't caught up. But, you know, straight heat, I don't care.
Abomination. And some of you out there may ask, why are we only examining 5 things that 4Kids did horribly when pretty much every second of every episode could qualify? And it's because 5 is about all I can handle for one day. And so as a result, the criteria for this list is as follows. To be considered one of the worst 4Kids changes, a moment or choice must deviate so ridiculously from the original intention of One Piece that it either becomes a parody of itself or tears a gaping hole in the One Piece canon. Speaking of, nothing on this list must be canon, and in fact immediately after the...
That's disgusting. I don't ever want to see this on my screens or my TV after this video. These both are yuck just because like Buddy got that gummy. And then Cartoon Network, not with it.
Conclusion of the video, I suggest we all just forget everything we've spoken about. But with that out of the way, let's begin, I guess.
That's
Welcome
so
to the top 5
weird.
worst changes made by the 4Kids dub.
Like his mouth? What?
Number 5. Lollipop
The most famous ones. Let me chill.
Sanji. Alright, we're starting with a very basic and well-known one here, and that's precisely why we cannot ignore it. So look, here's the deal.
And in fact, people, One Piece is looking like a kid's show before, you know? And some of these pictures, they definitely helped them out calling One Piece a kid's show. But just know, we in the pirate world. People get sliced up. People get waxed. We ain't even talking about the devil fruits.
Coming from an English-speaking Western country, I get why they censored the cigarette. You're marketing the show to kids, even teenagers, and it does actively promote smoking through the idea that Sanji smokes and Sanji is cool, therefore smoking must be cool. That doesn't mean it isn't absolutely ridiculous though. And the primary issue is that, admittedly, like most things in the 4Kids dub, it is impossible to take Sanji seriously, ever, because he's always sucking on a lollipop. It takes away from great dramatic moments and sort of comes to define Sanji in a way that the cigarettes never did. The thing about smoking Sanji is that cigarettes are an accessory. It's a character trait. However, a lollipop provides a much more bold statement, and instead of being a badass kicking chef guy, Sanji becomes the lollipop dude because it's just impossible to ignore. And just like that, you have a perfectly captivating character reduced to the status of a temporary.
Are they still making that? I thought it was just for like you know, the episodes that dropped early in the series, but that's why.
And look, to be honest, this change is but one of many to do with smoking.
Y'all let me know.
Some may argue that other characters were impacted more heavily by this censorship, but I disagree simply due to the fact that Sanji is a key protagonist, and so this particular decision has a much greater long-term impact on the series as a whole. But of course, it certainly wasn't the worst change made by 4Kids.
I never want to watch this.
Crocodile's Hook. Now, if you're looking at this image and thinking, what's wrong? That looks exactly how I remembered it. Well, you'd be correct. This is quite possibly one of my favorite shots in the entire series, both in the anime and the manga. I love the colors, I love the silhouetting, but most of all, I love the feeling it gave me when I first laid eyes upon it, which was shock and uncertainty. This was the first time that Luffy had truly been in a no-win situation, and nobody was coming to save him. It was dark and wonderfully suspense-building for a generally bright and happy shonen series. Alright, so with that in mind, let's examine what 4Kids managed to accomplish with this shot.
Let's see.
Glorious, isn't it? The sheer lack of it.
What is that? Oh my god. It doesn't even look. Who? Hold on, bro. Like, you got this man flipped over. You got him. Is he like holding him with the hook around? Kind of like they try to do that. His arm is deformed. Like, you see him trying to grab it. That's deformed. His back's broke. His legs. You see the flip-flops. This doesn't even look like Luffy though, you know?
Attention to detail, emotional intent, and any form of artistic integrity is almost a piece of art.
Like, there's no way you could like the 4Kids, fam. There's no way you could get, like, no. Because people,
itself. It's a perfect representation of how to ruin something beyond repair. I mean, in this masterpiece, Luffy really does look like more of a reclining Renaissance nude, nestled carefully within the inviting crescent of Crocodile's Hook, which is really odd because he was yelling at him and just full of life a second before this happened. Not only that, but Luffy has also quite magically developed some sleeves on his upper body, despite the fact that he was wearing a sleeveless top in the shot immediately prior. This shot really does.
It's so bad.
Like a gallery of shit. Sort of like a museum of what not to do ever again, because I understand that, hey, maybe getting impaled is a bit dark for children's TV, but if you are going to go to the effort of censoring something for that audience,
but it's like,
please get rid of the sleeves. This is lazy, confusing, pointless, and I cannot believe that someone was paid cash money to take time out of their day, perhaps even week, to make this happen.
I don't know. It's like they could have made it better though. Cause it's like they try to make it too, like they tried too hard to, it's not fitting for the show, fam. The lollipop, that's sus. Where do you get these lollipops from? Every episode you see him, he's gonna have a lollipop. There's no way you could watch that. No, there's no way. It's just not for me. And then this one, like, they could have at least, if they impaled him, they could have tried to make it look like, I don't know, some water, some sand. I don't know. Like.
And with this sort of artistic integrity in mind, let's move on
This is
to
just wild.
number 3.
Nami.
This thing. So this is probably the crowning achievement of 4Kids editing. So I get it. You're making a show that is focused towards children and you're not too keen on the whole gun violence aspect. Cool. Entirely understandable. Although I do question the sanity involved when choosing to adapt a series that, especially early on, has such a huge focus on guns, to the point where it is absolutely impossible to edit them all out. So as a result, we get things like making them look like water pistols or chucking corks in them, which is sad, but that's one thing. And it's entirely another when we are presented with this. Now, I honestly can't tell if the result of this gun edit is because someone was feeling incredibly uncreative that day, or because someone was feeling far too creative that day. Either way, this is what we have, and I struggle to explain what this device is, or why Kobe, Luffy, or even the audience cares. As far as I can tell, what was once a gun is now some sort of precarious, trigger-activated power hammer, which, first of all, the implications of that is so much more brutal than an actual gun, because it implies that Helmeppo is willing to use blunt force to quite violently injure and possibly kill Kobe. And I guess that might be where making it look so ridiculous comes into effect, because it minimizes the thought of potentially bludgeoning someone to death. But the problem is also that, well, Kobe could just run away, because this weapon is no longer a projectile and will have an incredibly short range. So what we have is a completely threatening scenario, in which the weapon is too ridiculous to accomplish anything, and instead of a watchable scene, all we have is a mind full of fuck. The best thing I can say for this change is that it does not impact the story going forward. Its ridiculousness, whilst at the height of 4Kids shenaniganry, is isolated. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for our top 2 contenders. Number 2.
My
Belmer's
Zoro.
Dungeon. So this entry is so much less kinky than I made it sound.
Let's talk about her haircut though.
Previous contender, 4Kids doesn't like guns. And thankfully, coming up, we have a more merciful edit than the Helmeppo abomination. However, it comes at a much greater cost. So as I'm sure we're all familiar with, and if not, well, spoilers for a little series called One Piece. But the climax of Nami's flashback is when Arlong murders Belmer by shooting her in the head in the manga, or the chest in the anime, or the head in the anime specials. Whatever the case, he shoots her. Now, not only is the weapon a problem here, but so is the general idea of death. Because remember, this is kids television, and death is not a topic for 7:30 in the morning, unless of course there are Dragon Balls involved. Sadly, no balls here, just rather
like, come on now.
And as such, the 4Kids team had to come up with their most creative solution.
Like, if you're playing in the morning,
replace the gun with Arlong pointing menacingly, as well as replace the gunshot itself with the following dialogue. How about a nice room in a dungeon for the rest of your days? But this really just... I don't know where to begin. I guess that the implication is that Belmer eventually died in prison, coming naturally to the end of her days, but this just clashes with everything. With Belmer dead, Nami's despair is so profound, as is the rest of Kokoyashi Village. It is enough to crush them into subservience, but with her alive at any point, the goal would shift from finding enough money to buy the village to freeing Belmer. I mean, unless of course Nami, Nojiko, and the rest of the village just decided to let her rot in what has been described as a nice room in a dungeon. Sounds quite pleasant, actually. And look, I know that the implication is that it's not a nice room at all, and Arlong is being a delicately evil prick, but the fact is that this word choice was not made to suit the character. It was made to lighten a moment that had already been significantly lightened. Like, you can practically hear the 4Kids showrunners in a meeting as this dialogue is being played out. So our anti-death policy means that
so it's like no fighting.
So how about
no
we have
hands.
the fish guy point threateningly at her? Oh no, a threatening point is far too dark for this company. How about when he points at her, he offers her some nice accommodations accommodation. You know what, Steve? You're right. Everyone can enjoy that. Everyone except anybody
Yeah,
watching
wipe your
the
nose,
show,
thank you.
because this one move lessens the development of Nami's character, it wrecks any sense of fear regarding Arlong, and it just looks and sounds plain shit. But not quite
Just
as
for
shit
kids,
as
fam,
number
because
one.
no. My Luffy. Did they try to like go in order? Like, Nami, you're number 5. Usopp 4. 3 is Sanji. 2 is Zoro. 1 is Luffy. This is like, you can't, like, no, this is like, if they're going off of like breaking through this story to make it suiting for kids, like, you might as well just put it on another channel. You're ruining it for fans. I can't lie. I would not watch this. Like,
Laboon. There is no doubt in my mind that this is by far the biggest travesty committed by the 4Kids dub that irrevocably changed the series as a whole. So basically, if you're unfamiliar with this change, once the Straw Hats clear Reverse Mountain and enter the Grand Line, in the 4Kids version, they do not encounter Laboon. Instead, what they see is a giant iceberg, to which Luffy fires a cannonball at, and they promptly move on with their journey. And this is not a simple edit like admittedly everything else on this list has been. This is actually the removal of an entire arc. Because if the Straw Hats don't encounter Laboon, then none of Reverse Mountain actually happens. And this is very, very bad.
Reverse Mountain, yeah,
you're
true.
Crocus hear about Raftel for the first time and are given a log pose in which to sail the Grand Line. And when they also meet Vivi here for the first time, so Reverse Mountain is pretty pivotal for a mini arc. But if I had to speculate as to why they got rid of the entire thing, I'd say it has to do with Laboon self-harming, and the idea of the Baroque Works agent's mission to kill him. But this decision just ruined everything.
Like, it would have been suiting, though. Like, at least take away some, like, you know, marks. It wasn't even gory like that. It's like, look, you can see it here. These are scars. Because he's a warrior. But, you know what I mean? They took out a whole pivotal part in the story because this part is brought back to so many times. So it's like, this is a very short term type of, you know, these edits are not thought out, you know? You know, they don't suit the story. They're just, you know, suiting for kids. But for me, this is disrespectful. You took out Laboon. Like, come on now. You know,
because as a result, holes needed filling. The crew needed a log pose, which conveniently appeared on the ship without anybody realizing they needed it beforehand, as well as a convenient recollection of memory featuring reused footage of previous episodes to understand how it works.
Nami looking slow.
Should the 4Kids dub have continued, there would have been a completely unfixable issue, which is that Laboon and Crocus are incredibly important to the world, especially in the case of future Straw Hat pirate Brook.
But okay, so it did end. Good.
In fact,
nobody's on cable anymore.
His
so
entire dream rests solely on one day being able to visit the whale that was made into an iceberg. So look, while everything else on this list has been bad,
facts, that's wild.
Pure vandalism and destruction of property, this particular change is reckless, inconceivable, and irredeemable. And so it reigns supreme in my mind as the worst change made by the worst company. But that pretty much does it for the top 5 worst changes made by 4Kids. If you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produced in general,
it's fire. No, it's not. Alright, my Dexxers and Dexters, make sure y'all drop a like if y'all did enjoy. If y'all want me to come back to some more One Piece type of videos, make sure you comment, like the video. Just so I can get a vibe of how, like, you know, what my supporters mess with. Like, likes help me know, so just make sure you drop a like, drop a dislike. I don't support the dislikes, but it helps me know. And make sure y'all subscribe if you did enjoy this video and want more content like this. Want to chill with me more, you know what I'm saying? And Bruno Bucciarati and Jono Giovanna. More reactions on the way. No cap. This video was wild. Worst changes in an anime. No, never again. 4Kids don't ever touch anything ever again, please. Because y'all obviously don't make good decisions. Y'all obviously don't. I'll see y'all next video. I love y'all, Dexters and Dexters. Make sure y'all put y'all coats up in the laboratory, in Dexter's laboratory. Y'all welcome back here anytime. Peace.